This is Idowu Shekoni, and reading with me is
Adetoke Oluyole.
We're bringing you Newscope, a daily news program of in-depth reports, interviews, and commentaries. First, the highlights. President Tinubu directs EFCC to vacate court order freezing Osun government account.
Governor Makinde says EFCC action against Osun threatens democracy.
ICPC deploys officers to Osun 30 local governments to curb vote buying.
Democratic Republic of Congo Ebola health workers protest unpaid wages as deaths surpass 1,800.
Now the news in full. President Bola Tinubu has directed the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission to immediately return to court and vacate the order freezing the accounts of the Osun state government. The president said the directive was necessary to protect public confidence in the democratic process, noting that the state was only days away from its governorship election. Tinubu, in a statement issued by the State House today, said it was not opposed to the EFCC's exercise of its statutory powers, but expressed concern over the timing of the action. The EFCC had obtained the order as part of its investigation into alleged financial infractions involving the Osun state government. The Commission had earlier defended the move, insisting that its actions were within the law and that it had the authority to place restrictions on accounts suspected to be linked to financial crimes. The anti-graft agency also stated that it could freeze accounts for 72 hours without a court order before seeking judicial approval for further restrictions. Tinubu, however, said actions taken by federal institutions were often attributed to him as the president, regardless of whether he had prior knowledge of them. The president said since assuming office, he had maintained that anti-corruption and law enforcement agencies should operate independently without interference. He added that he had deliberately avoided directing or interfering in the operational activities of the EFCC or other investigative agencies because of his belief in strong democratic institutions. Tinubu noted that although he was yet to be fully briefed on the facts that informed the EFCC's decision to seek the court order, the timing of the action required its intervention. He said the proximity of the election made it necessary to avoid actions that could undermine confidence in the electoral process.
Meanwhile, the Osun state government has rejected an allegation by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, that 11 billion naira was looted from the state's account, accusing the anti-graft agency of making unfounded claims to justify what it described as an unlawful freezing of government funds. The state government made this position known in a statement signed by the Commissioner for Information and Public Enlightenment, Oluyole. According to the government, the freezing of state accounts was intended to prevent it from paying palliatives promised to workers rather than to stop the alleged diversion of public funds. The government said it had already paid the palliatives to workers following negotiations aimed at easing the impact of the current economic difficulties. The state government further said its available resources had been channeled towards infrastructure, workers' welfare and development across various sectors. The government also alleged that the EFCC had been investigating senior state officials since March 2026, but had yet to produce evidence indicting them. The statement followed the EFCC's explanation from freezing the bank accounts of the Osun state government. The Commission said the measure was taken to prevent the alleged diversion of public funds amid the state's preparation for the August 15th governorship election.
The Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission has said its operatives will be deployed to all the 30 local government areas of the state during the August 15 governorship poll. This was disclosed by the resident acting Anti-Corruption Commissioner for Osun State, Yusuf Olatunji, while speaking with journalists during a street rally against vote buying organized by the Commission in Osogbo today. During the street rally, During the street rally, which had in attendance core members, staff members of the Independent National Electoral Commission (ICPC) members, among others, various speakers in 3 major languages in the country campaigned against vote buying. The rally had taken off at Igbono Market in Osogbo and moved through the old garage to Oluyole area and terminated at Alekuodo Market in Osogbo. Also, flyers containing information on the adverse implication of vote buying were also distributed to the residents. Addressing journalists after the rally, Olatunji explained that the rally was organized to drive home the message of the Commission against vote trading. He admonished the electorate in the state to protect the integrity of the electoral process by rejecting every form of electoral corruption, especially vote buying and vote selling.
In another development, the Oyo State Governor, Engineer Seyi Makinde, has accused the federal government of deploying federal institutions to undermine opposition-controlled states, alleging that recent actions by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission were politically motivated. In a statement shared on his X handle today, Governor Makinde condemned what he described as increasing use of federal agencies to disrupt governance in opposition states, warning that such actions threaten Nigeria's democracy. He maintained that while no government should be exempt from scrutiny, using anti-corrupt agencies to selectively target certain states or public office holders erodes public confidence in public institutions. The governor also criticized the alleged freezing of an official state government account, describing the action as unlawful. Makinde further alleged that the timing of the action suggested an attempt to influence the forthcoming Osun State governorship election. He called on the federal institutions to remain impartial and discharge their constitutional responsibilities without political interference. The governor also urged Nigerians, civil society organizations and the international community to remain vigilant, stressing that democracy cannot flourish where institutions are perceived as tools of political intimidation. The commission said the measure was taken to prevent alleged diversion of public funds amid the state's preparation for the August 15th governorship election.
The family of the purported Director General of the Presidential Foreign Investment Promotion Council, Adeniyi Adeyemi, today alleged that members of the House of Representatives at a committee investigating the PFIPC are attempting to question him in police custody without the presence of his lawyers. Speaking with our correspondent, Adeyemi's brother, Peter Adeyemi, claimed that the committee visited the facility where Adeyemi is being held, but that he declined to answer questions due to answer questions. Beg your pardon. Speaking with our correspondent, Adeyemi's brother, Peter Adeyemi, claimed that the committee visited the facility where Adeyemi is being held, but that he declined to answer questions due to the absence of his legal representatives. He said the family was concerned about the development and urged the committee to allow the embattled suspect to respond to the allegations against him in the same public manner in which they were made. The family's latest claim comes a day after Adeyemi, through his lawyer Ademola Oyedokun, rejected the House Committee's plan to question him at an undisclosed location while he remains in police custody. In a statement, the lawyer said Adeyemi welcomed the House probe into the alleged establishment and operations of the PFIPC, but opposed any closed-door interrogation. On Tuesday, the committee had announced that it would question Adeyemi at an undisclosed location where he remains in police custody. The committee's chairman, Yusuf Gakdi, said the arrangement was necessary to avoid interfering with ongoing investigations by the Nigeria Police Force, and the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, and the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission. Gakdi explained that the committee had invited Adeyemi, but was informed by the police that he remained in custody pursuant to a court order. He added that the National Assembly would not act in a manner that undermined the judiciary or violated the principle of separation of powers, stressing that lawmakers lack the authority to override an existing court order directing Adeyemi's detention. The committee is investigating allegations surrounding the creation and operations of the PFIPC, including claims of impersonation, forgery, financial impropriety, and the unlawful use of government facilities and official insignia.
This broadcast of Newscope comes to you from the Broadcasting Corporation of Oyo State, Ibadan. The Oyo State Governor, Engineer Seyi Makinde, has commissioned the newly reconstructed 2-kilometer Bodija International Market Road, a modern fire service building, and an ultra-modern car park named after the renowned Ibadan Yoruba warrior, Balogun Odemilo, at the Bodija International Market in Ibadan North Local Government Area of Oyo State. The projects were funded by the Ibadan North Local Government under the leadership of Seun Olufade. Details of the event are presented by the Governor's Office correspondent Oluyole Suleiman.
The Oyo State government, under the leadership of Governor Seyi Makinde, recorded another milestone in its drive to improve infrastructure and stimulate economic development with commissioning of key projects executed by Ibadan North Local Government at the Bodija International Market, one of the largest markets in Nigeria. The project, funded by the Ibadan North Local Government and commissioned, include the newly reconstructed 2-kilometer Bodija International Market Road, a modern fire service building, and an ultra-modern car park with shops, all aimed at improving the business environment and enhancing public safety with the market. Speaking at the commissioner ceremony, Governor Seyi Makinde described the project as clear evidence that local government council in Oyo State are effectively discharging their constitutional responsibilities without interference. He noted that the infrastructure will boost economic activities, improve the ease of doing business, and further strengthen the state economy.
Local government kí wọ́n sọ tí local government ṣe tí wọ́n bá sọ àbárí pé wọ́n ṣe nǹkan tó dáa àbẹ̀rẹ̀ sí lísìn.
Governor Makinde also called on traders and residents of the market to continue supporting his administration and its vision for sustainable development. He assured them that more infrastructure projects will be facilitated in the markets under the next administration if his party's governorship candidate is elected.
I name that trailer park after Balogun Odemilo. Elagbon Ija Osogbo and to lead the Yoruba army nínú ìjà yẹn òní Balogun Odemilo.
Earlier, the chairman of Ibadan North Local Government, Seun Olufade, appreciated Governor Makinde for providing an enabling environment that allowed the council to successfully execute the project. He stated that the reconstructed road, ultra-modern car park with shops, and modern fire service building will improve transportation, enhance public safety, increase commercial activities, and further position Bodija International Market as a leading commercial hub in Nigeria.
I urge everyone to take ownership of these facilities by protecting and maintaining them so they can continue to serve generations to come.
Also speaking, the representative of the contracting firm, Adekunle Akinpelu, recalled that the road was previously in deplorable condition before its reconstruction. He thanked the state government for the confidence reposed in the company and expressed optimism that the completed infrastructure will significantly enhance business activities within the market. In separate goodwill messages, the Babaloja of Bodija Market, Alhaji Aderemi Jimoh, the chairman of Bodija Market, Alhaji Dauda Adegbenro, and the Otun Iyaloja of the market, Alhaja Aru Oyebamiji, expressed appreciation to Governor Makinde for the landmark project. They said the infrastructure will provide greater comfort, safety, and convenience for traders and customers while promoting economic growth within the market.
You make us more than what we have today. When you make us, you are commissioning 3-in-1 on behalf of market men and women to go down with environment. We give thanks, and thanks.
The commissioner ceremony was attended by the Deputy Governor of Oluyole State, Barrister Oluyole, members of the National and State Assemblies, top government officials, traditional leaders, market stakeholders, and other dignitaries. Oluyole Sulaiman, DCS News.
Experts in religious studies have called on governments and faith-based organizations across Africa to complement preaching with practical investments in human capital development, entrepreneurship, wealth creation, and social welfare as sustainable solutions to poverty, unemployment, and insecurity. The call was made at the International Conference on Religious Economy in Africa, Issues and Perspectives, organized by the Department of Religious and Intercultural Studies, Lead City University, Ibadan, in collaboration with the Pan-Africana Strategic and Policy Research Group, Lagos, and the Department of Religious Studies, Olabisi Onabanjo University, Agoiwe. Our reporter, Folashade Akintola, has more.
The two-day international conference attracted scholars, religious leaders, and researchers from Nigeria and other countries to examine the relationship between religion, economic, and sustainable development in Africa. Delivering the keynote address titled The Politics of Sacred Economic and Africa Under Development, Professor Afe Adogame of Princeton Theological Seminary, New Jersey, said religious organizations must play a more active role in tackling poverty, unemployment, and other human security challenges. He observed that while government often focus on national security, inadequate attention is paid to human security, stressing that reducing poverty and unemployment will in return help curb insecurity. Professor Adogame urged churches, mosques, and other faith-based organizations to invest in vocational training, entrepreneurship, and job creations rather than relying solely on charitable interventions.
Teach people the skills they need. I have nothing against tithes and offering. I have nothing against going to church or mosque 30 times a day. But we should be asking the youths, for instance, what skills do you have? Every youth has a skill.
Presenting the lead paper titled Successful Churches and the Paradox of Spiritual Economy, Professor Abimbola Adelakun of the University of Chicago examined the contribution of successful churches to education, social welfare, and economic development while highlighting the complex relationship between faith, capitalism, and spirituality. Also speaking, Professor Sonny Amdu of Lagos State University, in his paper The Blurring Line Between Faith and Financial Economic, encouraged religious organizations to move beyond depending on tithes and donations by investing in wealth-creating ventures capable of empowering their members. Speaking from the perspective of African traditional religion, Chief Consultant at Osun State Teaching University and Ufa priest Dr. Oluyole Atonda said indigenous religions has historically contributed to economic development through festivals, tourism, healthcare, and cultural industries.
In contemporary society, should have been utterly stripped away to reveal the reality of the business decisions, the calculations that go into the making of a successful church.
Trying to call on the religious institutions to establish avenue for creating wealth. Many of them have large expanses of land which can be cultivated and be a source of revenue for the institution.
Religious economy is beyond tithes, zakat, offerings, sacrifices. We should look at how has that religion contributed to economy.
In their opening remarks, the Vice Chancellor of Lead City University, Professor Kabiru Adeyemo, and the Dean Faculty of Arts, Professor Anjola Robi, described religion as a major force influencing African economy, politics, education, and healthcare.
Our Department of Religious and Cultural Studies has over the years distinguished the story of religion not as an abstract subject but as a large dynamic force in African life, and it has done so when nurturing the cultural.
Speaking on the significance of the conference, the co-conveners and the head of the Department of Religious and Intercultural Study, Lead City University, Dr. Samson Ichaola, said the gathering will enrich scholarly discourse on religious economic and generate policy recommendations for governments and faith-based organizations.
Irrespective of our different faiths, to be able to develop to understand what religious economy means to our nation, how we can develop it, how government can participate in religious economy, support religious economy.
The conference clamours with the presentation of award to distinguished government officials, eminent religious leaders, and accomplished scholars in recognition of their exceptional contributions to education, religion, public service, and national development. Folashade Akintola, BCOS News.
And in the world of sports, Mohamed Salah has completed his move to Turkish club Trabzonspor, signing a 2-year contract after leaving Liverpool as a free agent. The former Liverpool forward ended his long spell at Anfield this summer and has now begun a new chapter in Turkey with the Super League side. Reports indicate that Salah's arrival marks one of the biggest transfers in Trabzonspor's history. The Egyptian international became one of Liverpool's greatest ever players during his 9 years at the club, scoring hundreds of goals and winning major honours, including the Premier League and Champions League. Salah's move to Trabzonspor has generated significant excitement among supporters, with fans welcoming the arrival of a global football star. The 34-year-old forward is expected to bring experience, goals and leadership as the Turkish club aims to compete domestically and in European competitions. The former Liverpool forward ended his long spell at Anfield this summer and has now begun a new chapter in Turkey with the Super League side. The move ends months of speculations over Salah's future following his departure from Liverpool and gives Trabzonspor one of the most high-profile signings in Turkish football history.
On the foreign scene, dozens of Congolese health workers at the epicenter of an Ebola outbreak have gone on strike to demand payment of their wages, as aid workers warn the disease is still spreading at an alarming rate. Health workers in Bunia, the capital of Turi province, which accounts for nearly 90% of Ebola cases in Democratic Republic of the Congo, DRC, are the latest group to walk off their jobs since protests over pay began weeks ago in the country. Protesting at the governor's office in the city on the city today, they said they have not received wages and bonuses since the outbreak was declared in mid-May. Officials have in the past blamed logistical issues for the payment delays. Congolese authorities did not immediately comment on the claims. Poor welfare for frontline workers has been a key source of concern in the outbreak spreading in one of the DRC's most remote and vulnerable areas ravaged by conflict between armed groups. Several health workers and facilities have been attacked by rebels and angry crowds. The walkouts took place as confirmed cases in the outbreak reached 3,973, including 1,801 deaths, according to the latest government data published today. It is the second largest Ebola outbreak on record, behind the 2014 to 2016 West Africa outbreak that saw more than 28,000 cases, including an excess of 11,000 deaths.
To end this edition of Newscope, here again are the main points. President Bola Tinubu has directed the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, to immediately return to court and vacate the order freezing the accounts of the Osun State government.
The Oluyole State Governor Engineer Sheyi Makinde has accused the federal government of deploying federal institutions to undermine opposition-controlled states, alleging that recent actions by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission were politically motivated.
The Independent Co-op Practices and Other Related Offences Commission has said its operatives will be deployed to all 30 local government areas of the state during the August 15th governorship poll against vote buying.
On the foreign scene, dozens of Congolese health workers at the epicenter of an Ebola outbreak have gone on strike to demand payment of their wages, as aid workers warn the disease is still spreading at an alarming rate.
If you see something suspicious, alert the authorities immediately for timely response. Be vigilant. And that's all from the Newscope desk for now, and it was packaged by Bode Akinjola and delivered by
Idowu Shekoni.
I am Adetoke Olaleye. Thank you for listening, and do not forget to tune in for the Yoruba version at 8 p.m.
Oluyole. àmì òjijì.
rédíò tí ó láfiwé Olúyọ̀lé FM àwa ni bàbá.
TS Charity ẹ̀yìn tí wà ní BCOS ṣe ti bọ̀ pé BCOS ti wà lórí Naija TV app ṣe ti rí pé nóbi lè pè dàbí reality confam ní ẹ ṣàmà wà kárí ayé BCOS to the world BCOS ilé akéde. ẹ̀yìn tí wà l'Olúyọ̀lé FM ṣe ti gbọ́ pé a ti wà lórí radio box ẹ lọ síbẹ̀ kẹ́ máa gbọ́ wa kedere ó kilẹ̀ létí omilẹ̀ létí Olúyọ̀lé FM 98.5 Olúyọ̀lé lórí radio box app. ẹ̀yin tí wà ní BCOS ṣe ti gbọ́ pé BCOS ti wà lórí Naija TV app ṣe ti rí pé nóbi lè pè náà reality confam ní ẹ ṣàmà wò wá kárí ayé BCOS to the world BCOS ilé akéde. BCOS ti wà lórí Naija TV app lórí àtẹ ìkànnì ayélujára Naija TV ẹ̀ka tó ń pawó wọlé commercial department ti BCOS ilé akéde ló ní ká sọ fún gbogbo wa pé láti túbọ̀ máa jẹ̀gbádùn àwọn ètò ọlọ́kanjọ̀kan wa lórí ẹ̀rọ ìbánisọ̀rọ̀ rẹ ìwọ sá ti lọ sórí Google Play Store tàbí lórí Apple Store kó download Naija TV app NAIJ